Today, we're going to start up with the new chapter of class 9th, A Truly Beautiful Mind, as you can see the title on the board. Before we proceed ahead, we will have a little discussion about the title of the story, A Truly Beautiful Mind. What is the meaning of beautiful mind? What do we mean by a beautiful mind? A mind which is genius, a mind which can think beyond the expectations of the common people, a mind which is not just restricted with certain rules and principles, a mind which can think and see what the common people cannot even imagine. I guess this is the definition of beautiful mind. Yes, students, we are going to talk about a personality in the story who has a beautiful mind indeed. We call him a genius of science, especially in physics. We are going to study about Albert Einstein in this story. Albert Einstein is one of a genius, a young civil servant who not just made so many theories and made the world believe in it, but he was a young 26-year-old person who published the papers firstly about the light, about the motion of particles, electrodynamics of moving bodies and energy particles. He was the one who made people believe in it, who was the one who explained the relationship of time and energy. Speed. After 50 years of his death, the theories still persist. The whole world is still following the principles that he has set for the world. Students are being taught his principles, his rules in the schools and colleges. The great scientists of the present scenario and even of the past still studies the theory which he has made. So that was a beautiful mind of a genius who gave a new facts to the whole world. Now we are going to start up with the chapter in detail. Students, as you all have got the books with you, we are going to study paragraph and we are going to understand each paragraph and the points which are highlighted. Like the first paragraph explains, Einstein was born on 14th March 1879 in the German city of Ulm without any indication in his childhood that he is going to be a brilliant scholar in the future. He is going to be a great scientist in the future. In fact, after seeing the activities, after seeing his behavior, his mother believed that he is a freak. Who is a freak? To whom do we call a freak? The meaning of freak is when a person not behaves like the common people. His activities, his behavior, his attitude is little different than the common people. In fact, his head seems too large as compared to the other children. At the age of 2.5, Einstein could not even speak, and when he started speaking, he uttered every word twice. So he used to repeat the word twice and thrice. In fact, like a common children, when they play, they eat, they share things together, Einstein was not that kind of a child. He never understood what to do with other children. He was not very interactive with other children. And that's why his friends, his playmates, his classmates used to call him boring brother. In fact, he was very much involved in himself. Most of the time he played all alone by himself only. The type of toys which he liked were mechanical toys. So we can see his interest, his inclination was always towards science from the very beginning. In fact, looking at his newborn sister Maza, once he asked his mother, where are her wheels? He thought that if she is walking, she is not walking by her feet, she is walking or moving on a wheel. A headmaster once told his father that any profession which he chooses doesn't matter because he will not be successful in any of. That means he was so dumb and not that brilliant scholar in the beginning of the school, that the teachers and the headmasters believed that he can be one of the greatest scientists of the future. So they told the father that it doesn't matter what career or profession he chooses, he is not going to be successful in any of it. He started learning violin at the age of 6. Why? Because his mother wanted it. And he continued playing. He became one of the biggest amateur violinists. Amateur means a person who plays violin just for his enjoyment, not for the profession or not for earning money. So he learned the violin and he played that. He continued to play that throughout his life. He learned, he developed that skill and he continued it just to enjoy and soothe himself and not to others. But Einstein was not a bad pupil. He went to school in Munich. So when he was 15 months old, his family shifted to the place called Munich. He was not a bad pupil. Pupil means student. He was a good learner. And there he scored very good marks almost in every subject. But as I have told you, Einstein was not like the common children. That's why he never liked the school regiment. Regimentation means the discipline, the rules of any institution. So he never liked that way of working. He thought that this is very materialistic. This is very restrictive. There are things much beyond this. So he always wanted to do something which is not set in the frame. He always thought things are happening beyond just the imagination of the common people, and that's why he was always in odds with his teachers. His relationship was not that pleasant and happy and understanding like the other students had in the school. At the age of 15, Einstein felt so stifled there that he left the school for good. So he was so frustrated and so irritated by the time he reached the age of 15, he finally dropped the school. He left that school and joined another one. Previous year, Einstein's parents had moved to Milan and left their son with relatives. So now at the age of 15, when he left the school, he continued his study further in the other institution. The parents shifted to the another city, leaving him behind with the relatives in that city. After a long discussion, the Einstein's dream his wish was finally getting fulfilled to continue his education in German-speaking Switzerland. Remember, we are talking about the era which was not that liberal. We are talking about an era which was not that free. There was a partition in a sort of part of Switzerland which was not that liberal. So here he was more free as compared to Munich. So this part of the Switzerland was more liberal, was more free. People had their own way of living as compared to his life in Munich. Einstein was highly gifted in mathematics. He was a brilliant student in mathematics, and equally he was interested in physics. After finishing his school, he finally decided to join the university in Zurich. But science was not the only thing which appealed to him. He was even interested in other things. And what was that other thing in which he was interested? He was very much interested in her fellow student. Her name was Maria Curie. But I want to tell one more physical feature of Einstein. When we look at his picture, we especially notice the kind of hair he had and the kind of moustaches he had. That type of bushy, heavy moustaches is called walrus. So the young, dashing, handsome man was very much interested in a fellow student, Melvia Merrick. And he found Melvia Merrick a clever creature because she was equally intelligent like Einstein. Because when he found a a people like Philistines in his own family, and in the university with whom he used to come across every day in life. That was very odd for him. That the people, now whom do we call Philistines? Those who are not that educated. So the type of education and thinking and understanding which he had related to other things, that level of understanding was missing in other people. And as compared to other people, Melvia was the one creature, was the one friend which he found was able to understand Einstein's perception, Einstein's point of view. So that's why he thought Melvia as a clever creature. This young Serb had come to Switzerland because the university in Zurich was one of the few universities in Europe who offered the equal education and degree to the women. Now here we can see that yes, not even in the previous, the boys and girls were getting the equal privilege, especially the girls. So Zurich was one of the place where the girls got the liberty, equality to study and get the degrees, and that's why Melvia joined that university, took the admission in that university. The couple fell in love. The letters survive in which they put their affections into words, mixing it with science. Now this is very interesting fact to understand that when the couples are in love, in affection, definitely they communicate, they write love letters to each other. And here, their love letter was not like a love letter of a common couple. As I have told you here, the couple was again had a very different point of view, had a very different conceptions about the things which they discovered or which they used to look at. So the love letter was also filled with the words of affection and mixed with science. For an example, here the Einstein used to say, I'll quote a line from the book, "How happy and proud I shall be when we both have brought our work on relativity to a victorious conclusion." Victorious means winning and conclusion is end. So here he is trying to say that it will be a beautiful moment when we will be together. Now this is out of love and affection. But when we will be together, we will be working on the relativity. Now this is something very different which people really don't communicate while they are in love. But their love is not just like the common people. Their love is for themselves and even for the science. So the love letters had the mix of their own love, and it had a discussion about the science also. In 1900, at the age of 21, Einstein was graduated and still unemployed. So in fact, after completing his education, he was graduated, but he did not had a job to do. Now here we can see that the great scientist who earned such a fame and popularity later on was absolutely not discovered or was not known to the people, and he got the job. So what did he do for the and he got the job in 1902. So what did he do in these 2 years? He worked as a teaching assistant, gave private lessons, so he was surviving by giving the private lessons, tuitions to the students. Finally, in 1902, he got the job as technical expert in the patent office in Bern. So Bern is a place where in a patent office he got the job. His job was to assist the projects of the others. He was supposed to help others. But Einstein actually was developing his own ideas, his own thoughts in secret. In fact, people in funny way used to call his desk drawer, the table where he used to sit and work, they used to call it as Bureau of Theoretical Physics. Meaning of Bureau of Theoretical Physics means that there was a place where he used to work on his ideas, on his thought process. He was discovering new things in secretly, which he was not sharing with others at that point of time. Theoretical physics over here means his way of thinking and working was not restricted with the rules and principles of the physics. That means he was discovering something which became the universal fact later on for the whole world. One of the famous papers of 1905 was Einstein's special theory of relativity. So we can know this fact, it can help you all students in the form of GK also, that his famous special theory of relativity was given in 1905, which actually framed time and distance are not absolute. Indeed, two perfectly accurate clocks will not continue to show the same time if they come together again after a journey if one of them was moving very fast relative to the other. Now these lines, it means that if the two clocks, they start at the same time at the perfect pace, but they will never meet again at the same point from where they started if one is moving little faster and one is moving little slow. From this followed the world's most famous formula which described the relationship between mass and energy. And here we see that formula as E is equal to mc square. So E is energy, m is mass, and c is the speed of light in a vacuum. This is the formula which became the universal fact for the rest of the world.